Life Audio.
The Bible Study Podcast, episode 906. Today, the Bible Study Podcast continues the study of the intertestamental period and the book of 1 Maccabees with chapter 15. Welcome to the Bible Study Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Christensen. We continue on with chapter 15, the second to the last chapter, the penultimate chapter, if you will. But first, a word from this sponsor. This chapter starts with a letter from Antiochus VII. Antiochus, son of King Demetrius, sent a letter from the islands of the sea to Simon, the priest and ethnarch of the Jews, and to the nations. Its contents were as follows. King Antiochus to Simon, the high priest and ethnarch, and to the nation of the Jews, greetings. Whereas certain scoundrels have gained control of the kingdom of our ancestors, and I intend to lay claim to the kingdom so that I may restore it as it formerly was, and have recruited a host of mercenary troops and have equipped warships, and intend to make a landing in the country so that I may proceed against those who have destroyed our country and those who have devastated many cities in my kingdom. Now therefore I confirm to you all the tax remissions that the kings before me have granted you, and a release from all the other payments from which they have released you. I permit you to mint your own coinage as money for your country, and I grant freedom to Jerusalem and the sanctuary. All the weapons that you have prepared and the strongholds that you have built and now hold shall remain yours. Every debt you owe to the royal treasury and any such future debts shall be cancelled for you from henceforth and for all time. When we gain control of our kingdom, we shall bestow great honor on you and your nation and the temple, so that your glory will become manifest in all the earth. In the 174th year, Antiochus set out and invaded the land of his ancestors. All the troops rallied to him, so that there were only a few with Trypho. Antiochus pursued him, and Trypho came in his flight to Dor, which is by the sea, for he knew the troubles had converged on him, and his troops had deserted him. So Antiochus encamped against Dor, and with him were 120,000 warriors and 8,000 cavalry. He surrounded the town, and the ships joined battle from the sea. He pressed the town hard from the sea, and permitted no one to leave or enter it. So again, Trypho was a usurper who has taken over the kingdom of Antiochus. Antiochus, one of the descendants of Antiochus Epiphanes, who started this whole mess here in the book of Maccabees, who is, while he is out of power, saying to Simon, "You're my friend, everything we said we're going to do," all of these things that in terms of cutting the taxes and no more taxes, and you can keep everything. He's basically trying to keep Simon and the Jews out of this fight on the side of Trypho. Now, given what Trypho has done, including killing his brother, it's very unlikely that Simon would have gone in on his side against Antiochus VII. But in any case, Antiochus is just trying to make sure that all the players are on the board and that the Jews are not going to be his enemy as he comes back and claims his throne. And we say the land of his ancestors, really the land of his ancestors going back like 170 years or so, because before that, this was entirely different nations. But, it felt like it was the land of his ancestors to him, and it was going back 170 years. And so they land, and all the troops say, yeah, we are not so fond of Trypho, and so they desert him and come to Antiochus, and we leave this first section here with Trypho being besieged in the city of Dor, and it does not look good for him. But then we switch back here to a different story, which is Rome supports the Jews. Then Numenarius and his companions arrived from Rome with letters to the kings and countries, in which the following was written. Lucius, consul of the Romans, to King Ptolemy greetings. The envoys of the Jews have come to us as friends and allies to renew our ancient friendship and alliance. They have been sent by the high priest Simon and by the Jewish people, and have brought a gold shield weighing 1,000 minas. We therefore have decided to write to the kings and countries that they should not seek their harm or make war against them and their cities and their countries, or make alliance with those who war against them. And it has seemed good to us to accept the shield from them. Therefore, if any scoundrels have fled to you from their country, hand them over to the high priest Simon, so that he may punish them according to their law. The council wrote the same thing to King Demetrius and to Attalus and Ariastes and Arasis, and to all the countries, and to Sempsemes, and to the Spartans, and to Delos, and to Mindos, and to Sicyon, and to Caria, and to Samos, and to Pamphylia, and to Lycia, and to Halicarnassus, and to Rhodes, and to the Phaselis, and to Cos, and to Sidde, and to Eridus, and Gortina, and Cydnus, and Cyprus, and Cyrene. And they also sent a copy of these things to the high priest Simon. So Rome is supporting the Jews. They are renewing their alliance with them, and they send this letter out to everybody. And I don't even know half of these, although several of these names are fairly well known. Halicarnassus, for instance, was the site of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Rhodes was the site of another one. Cyprus and Cyrene are still things that come up in the New Testament. Pamphylia is, again, one of those places that comes up in the New Testament. Sparta, obviously, in Greece. And so they're writing to all of the different powers in the region, a lot of these very small powers. And Rome itself, still a relatively small power at this point, but on the rise. And they say, these are our friends. Don't go to war with them. And if you have any of these people who have violated their laws, who have come to you, you should return them to the Jews for punishment. So it's a good letter, but we have to remember that at this point, Rome is not the Rome that it will be by the time we get to the New Testament. It is not the most important power in the area just yet, but it is on the rise. It is important enough that this is good news for the Jews. And then we continue on. The second to last section here is Antiochus VII threatens Simon. Well, remember how Antiochus VII wrote a really nice letter to Simon, how everything is good between us and all of those things are canceled and things like that. That didn't last that long, did it? King Antiochus besieged Dor for the second time, continually throwing his forces against it and making engines of war, and he shut Trypho up and kept him from going out or in. And Simon sent to Antiochus 2,000 picked troops to fight for him, and silver and gold and a large amount of military equipment. But he refused to receive them, and broke all the agreements he formerly had made with Simon, and became estranged from him. He sent to him Athenobius, one of his friends, to confer with him, saying, "You hold control of Joppa and Gazara and the citadel in Jerusalem. They are cities of my kingdom. You have devastated their territory, you have done great damage in the land, and you have taken possession of many places in my kingdom. Now then, hand over the cities that you have seized and the tribute money of the places that you have conquered outside the borders of Judea, or else pay me 500 talents of silver for the destruction that you have caused, and 500 talents more for the tribute money of the cities. Otherwise we will come and make war on you." So Athenobius, the king's friend, came to Jerusalem, and when he saw the splendor of Simon and the sideboard with its gold and silver plate and his great magnificence, he was amazed. When he reported to him the king's message, Simon said to him in reply, "We have neither taken foreign land nor seized foreign property, but only the inheritance of our ancestors, which at one time had been unjustly taken by our enemies. Now that we have the opportunity, we are firmly holding the inheritance of our ancestors. As for Joppa and Gazara, which you demand, they were causing great damage among the people and to our land. For them we will give you 100 talents. Athenobius did not answer him a word, but returned in wrath to the king, and reported to him these words, and also the splendor of Simon, and all that he had seen, and the king was very angry. Now, it's almost like there were two different Antiochus VII's, right? We get the one who is, we are your friends, and you don't have to pay us anything, and you keep everything you've got. But that was the Antiochus who didn't have power. That was the Antiochus before he returned to power, who needed friends. It's almost like in elections, what does the politician say before you elect them? What do they do after you elect them? And Antiochus proves to be completely untrustworthy. He made all sorts of promises and takes them back, even though Simon is acting in good faith and is sending him troops to help him out, is sending him supplies. He's rejecting them. He's rejecting Simon, and he's demanding all these things that he told them they wouldn't have to do. And as I recall, the demands, the original, you don't have to pay me anything, you can keep, though, was forever and ever, never in the future. And so he's completely untrustworthy. He sends Athenobius, and Athenobius comes with these demands that you need to give back the things that you have taken, or you need to pay us for them. And you need to pay us hundreds of talents of silver. So this is like a year's wages, 500 person year's wages of silver. And then we get victory over Cendebeus. Meanwhile, Trypho embarked on a ship and escaped to Orthosia. Then the king made Cendebeus commander-in-chief in the coastal country and gave him troops of infantry and cavalry. He commanded him to encamp against Judea, to build up Kedron and fortify its gates, and to make war on the people. But the king pursued Trypho. So Cendebeus came to Jamnia and began to provoke the people and invade Judea and take the people captive and kill them. He built up Kedron and stationed horsemen and troops there so that they might go out and make raids along the highway of Judea as the king had ordered him. And this is one of those awkward places where the title here, Victory over Cendebeus, doesn't correspond to what happens here at least at the end of the chapter marking. But I'm going to end here at the end of the chapter. We'll do the last chapter in 1 Maccabees next time. But basically, the king has sent troops again against Judea. So never mind all of those things I said about how you're my friends forever. Never mind about how you don't have to pay me. Never mind how you don't have to give anything back. You have to give everything back. You're not my friend, and you owe me a lot of money, or you're going to have war. And we're at it one more time. This has not proved to be a particularly reliable family in their dealings with the people of Judea, and that will go on into the last chapter of this book. But we'll get to that next week as we wrap up 1 Maccabees. And with that, we're going to end this episode of the Bible Study Podcast. If you have any questions, send an email to chris2x@gmail.com, or better yet, leave a comment on this episode at thebiblestudypodcast.com. And thanks so much for listening. I want to take just a second to thank the team at Life Audio for their partnership with us on this podcast. If you go to lifeaudio.com, you'll find dozens of other faith-centered podcasts in their network. They've got shows about prayer, Bible study, parenting, and more.
Hello, this is Dr. Doug Groothuis, host of Truth Tribe, where we seek the truth through reason and evidence about what matters most. And we are not tribal, since truth is for everyone. Please join me at the Truth Tribe as I discuss the reasons for Christian faith, the Christian worldview, and moral issues such as abortion and gender ideology. To listen now, go to lifeaudio.com or search Truth Tribe on your favorite podcast app.